Today is Wednesday, and we are going to cover two topics today. You remember a couple of weeks ago, I told you there are some bandhs, and we did one bandh, Mool bandh, and now today I want to explain the Jalandhar bandh to you. This is also called a neck lock or a throat lock. It's just like this. Let me read the Sanskrit verse or part of that verse. Says Kantha Sankochanam Kritvaha Chimbukam Hride Nyaset Jalandhare Krite Bandhe Shotash Adhar Bandhanam. Jalandhar Mahamudra Mrityosh Kshay Karne. So literal translation of this verse is contract the throat and place the chin on the chest. On the chest means right up here, like this. Not down there, but like this. This becomes Jalandhar Bandha. It gives control over the 16 bases. Shotash Adhar. You remember? I said Jalandhare Krite Bandhe Shotash Adhar Bandhanam. Shotash means 16. Our body has 16 adhars or bases or receptacles. And Jalandhar Bandh influences these bases. What are these 16 bases? They refer to the major organs and parts of the body through which the various bodily activities are conducted and managed. Starts with toes. They refer to major organs and parts of the body through which the various bodily activities are conducted and managed. Starts with toes, ankles, knees, thighs, perineum, genitals, navel region, heart, base of the neck, throat, root of the tongue, and nasika agra, nose tip, eyebrow center, forehead, Brahma Randhra, top of the head and crown. If you remember, when we were talking about the chakras, how many petals are here in the throat chakra? First of all, throat chakra is called Vishuddha chakra. How many petals? 16. So this is such an important chakra. So that's why this bandh is also very, very important. So Jalandhar bandh influences the entire body. Vishuddha chakra. See, this is a Vishuddha chakra. It is also called a middle chakra. This is like a region, transition region between the manifest and the unmanifest dimension. You remember the lower chakras? The earth, water, fire, air. And then this one is space. So that's why I said it's between the manifest and the unmanifest. The Agya chakra and the Sahasrara chakra. So this one is a transition. Akash or the space is the element over here. So Vishuddha chakra's 16 petals relate directly to these Shotash Adhar, 16 bases of this body. So how do we do it? You got to sit straight in a Padmasana, Siddhasana, Sukhasana, whichever asana you want to sit in. Try to keep your knees as close to the floor as much you can. Okay, it's just like you got to. Some people can touch the floor with the knees, others can't, but try to spread it as much as you can. Place the palms of your hands on the knees. Close your eyes and relax the whole body. So after that, first thing you do is inhale slowly and deeply from both the nostrils. Mouth is closed, eyes are closed, and retain the breath inside. While retaining the breath, contract the throat, bend the head forward, and touch the chest with the chin at the point where the collarbones meet. So it's like this. But hands should be on the knees, both the palms on the knees. After that, you should straighten your arms, pressing the knees down with the hands, simultaneously hunching the shoulders upward and forward like this, upward and forward. Okay, so back is straight. You're not bending the back like this. Back is straight, only the chin is down and the hands are pressing down and moving your shoulders up and forward. In this way, you will see that your arms will stay locked. That's how you intensify the pressure applied to the throat. Otherwise, if you just apply the pressure like this, it's not enough. So you got to make sure that you are using your arms also. Stay in this final position for as long as the breath can be held comfortably. So people who have done enough pranayams in their life, they'll be able to hold it into the mudra for a long time or the bandha. But if you have not done pranayam, then you won't be able to hold it as long. So that's why there's no certain amount. You got to just to see what is your capacity, but do not strain. And when you want to release, relax the shoulders, bend the arms, raise the head, slowly release the lock, and then exhale. So in other words, do not exhale while you are in that position. You got to come out of the position, out of that lock, and then exhale. Okay, so inhalation and exhalation got to be done at the proper time. Initially, the practice is performed with the internal retention. That means you have inhaled, then you go apply the lock, then get out of the lock and exhale. Later on, you'll be able to do it while your breath is exhaled. You can still do the lock, but that is advanced. So do not try to do it right now. Okay, so we got to perfect that internal breath retention first. Okay, so then after that, external breath. So again, how long you should do it? As long as the breath can be retained comfortably. Don't overdo it. And this can be repeated several times. Start with the 5 repetitions. Okay. And how does it, where does it fall in our daily practice? You can do it after the asanas or even after the asanas and the pranayams also. Then later on, you'll be able to practice this along with your meditation also. But first, just try to do it only after the asanas and the pranayams. Precaution. Do not inhale or exhale until the chin lock and arm lock have been released. Okay? And the head is fully upright. So in other words, do not inhale or exhale when your chin is down. It should be up. So inhale, then lock, then hold, then unlock, then exhale. Got it, everybody? It's very important. You don't want to hurt yourself. If there's any sensation of suffocation, fainting, or dizziness is felt, immediately stop and rest. Once that sensation is gone, then you can try it again. Because there's a lot happening with the prana inside your body. Who should not do it? This is called a contraindications. If you have any kind of a cervical problem, vertigo, blood pressure problem, heart disease, you should not practice this. Okay, it's very powerful. So you don't want to aggravate those ailments in your body. Benefits. Jalandhar Bandha massages and tones the thyroid gland. And we know how important the thyroid gland is. It maintains our metabolism. So it really works on the thyroid gland. So it really influences health and longevity. And this pressure, the holding of the breath inside, it influences our prana shakti. According to yoga, prana is energy which continuously flows upward in the chest. The pressure created in the neck and chest during the practice of Jalandhar Bandha reverses the flow of prana, making it flow downward because you have placed that lock over there. And when the prana shakti starts flowing downward and apan shakti starts flowing upward through the practice of Mool Bandha or Udyan Bandha, these both the energies meet. And when they meet, prana and apan, when they meet, they result in a state of awakening of the chakras. And this same kind of a stimulus occurs in the brain also, and a state of alertness comes. So you are more aware of your own awareness. That is a state of samadhi. So physically it helps, and spiritually it helps too. It's very important. All the bandhas and the mudras are very important. They are advanced yogic techniques, but you need to practice it. First, you got to learn it, then practice it with full faith and see what really happens. Okay, so any question? So if you don't have any question, we'll just move on to our next topic then.
Hershey, I have a question. After we take our arms and hands away from our knees, where do we put them? In front?
After just relax. You can put them in your lap.
No,
relax.
When you said you have to move the shoulder up, that's when I'm talking about.
Yeah, at that time hands are down.
Down in front of us?
Both, no, at the time of the mudra, the bandha, your hands are on your knees. Yeah. And then you have moved up and forward and you are in a bandha. Oh. And then you come out of it. You can leave your hands there, but in a relaxed position. Okay. First, they are tight. Okay. When you are so first they are tight when you are in a lock, then relaxed. Then again do it. Then they're tight again when you're in a locked position. Okay. So just one thing you got to remember, do not bring a curve in your spine. A lot of people, they think you got to go like this. No, you're not supposed to go like this. You're supposed to keep your back straight, chin down, shoulders up and forward to just intensify You will see that this kind of a position will help you when I teach you to do all the 3 bandhs together also. It will really help you. But try to practice this Jalandhar bandh alone for a week.
Hersh, I have a picture. Do you want me to just share it on the screen?
Let me see. Yeah, share it.
Whoops. Ah.
Not working?
Hold on 1 second. Do you see it now?
Yeah. Yeah. See, back is straight.
Right there.
See, back is straight. It's not curved. So you are just putting the pressure right over here. Okay. Yeah. And the arms, see, the hands are on the knees and arms are fully straight, shoulders up and forward. Okay. So when you practice it, then you might have more questions. Call me, or in our next class, you can ask me. Okay. So on the Zoom, all we can do is just go through it this way. Yes, Prem.
You said, I lost you when you said retain the breath inside, and then you said something about contract, and then I lost that sentence.
Yeah, no, then you got to just, see, you breathe in, retain the breath, go into that lock, bring your hands down, put pressure on the knees, and then move your shoulders up and forward and stay in that position as long as you can comfortably. Then you relax your arms first, move your head up, then exhale. That is a sequence.
Do you remember what you said about contracting, like contract something?
It was contraindication.
I think you're saying contraindication.
Contraindication.
So contraindication means the people should not do it. People with those ailments should not do it.
Okay.
Okay. Any kind of a vertigo, high blood pressure, heart disease, because there's a lot of, I mean, you can do it a little bit, but you really don't want to go through the full intensified bandh if you have those problems. Okay. Because there's a lot happening inside when you just hold the breath in and you are fully applying this bandh.
I think, Hersh, you said contract throat right in the beginning.
Okay, all right.
Are you supposed to contract the throat?
Yeah, throat you are with the chin, yes. But after inhalation.
Okay.
After inhalation, when you are doing the bandh, you got to contract, yes.
Okay.
Can I just remind everybody that the raise hand button is under more, on the reaction, under reaction. Sorry, Hershji.
No problem. So anybody else, any question? Okay. But you can see that how important it is to do Jaleti also.
Veronica has
how
a question.
important it is to do the pranayams also. If you want to have a full benefit of the mudras and the bandhs. That's why they are mentioned on the chart of Hatha Yoga. After, very first thing is what? The cleansings, Shatkaram. Then comes asana, then comes pranayam, then comes mudra and bandha. So that means we have to go in that sequence. Yes, Jyoti.
Veronica, she has a question.
Oh, yes, but I think you said there were 3 bands.
3 bandhs, yes, bandh.
Is this the third one?
This is the second one.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, third one, I'll go over it next week.
Okay.
Okay. Then there's a fourth one where you combine all of them together. Okay. That's called a Mahabandha.
Thank you.
Maha means great. And that's how you meditate ultimately, by applying all 3 bandhs. Okay, but that for the future classes. Okay, let's our next topic, we always cover some kind of a general topic. And today, just a very simple topic. I'm sure all of you are doing great in this area, but still it's good to visit and revisit. And I would like to call it a harmony in relationships. Harmony. And relationships could be with the things, beings, living and non-living. And we know with the things and the non-living beings, it's easy because they don't act and react back. Even relationships with the pets, it's easy because they don't talk back, right? So today I will focus mainly on the relationships, harmony in the relationships with the human beings. Human beings. But before we talk about other beings, first of all, we got to remember that unless I am harmonious within, I cannot be in harmony with others. I'm sure you'll all agree with me. We keep disharmony internally, and that is the major problem. There are a lot of issues, unresolved emotions inside. As long as we have that, we cannot have a harmony within. And if there's no harmony within, we cannot expect a utmost harmony outwards. There are 4 levels of our existence: physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. Physical. Physical is, in a simple Hindi terms, we say roti kapda makan. That means we need a shelter, we need the food to eat, we need the clothes to wear. That's an easy one. Especially this day and age, to pay for our physical existence, to take care of it, if you want to keep it simple, it's easy. So I am not going to talk about that. The second comes emotional. Emotional is very, very important. We got to understand what emotion is. Do we really know what emotions are? Emotions are thoughts charged with feelings. So that means that they are very high energy thoughts. Because they are charged, they create waves of vrittis. And they could be positive, which are called sadbhav, which create the positive vrittis, and they could be negative, like anger, road rage, ego, loath. Those are all emotions too. Consciously, we need to cultivate noble emotions. By cultivating noble emotions, we can become a devata. So another way you can understand is vital energy plus feelings and thoughts are emotions. So deliberately, we got to bring positivity in there, deliberate. We cannot just leave it alone. Just like for the food and the shelter, we had to work hard to be comfortable. The same way, emotions are also ours. We need to deliberately work on them. These days, there's a term which says emotional intelligence. Emotional. Then comes the intellectual. Intellectual frustration is a big problem. And intellectual is ours too. If somebody gossips too much, that means the intellect is frustrated. It is surviving on the garbage and dirt. Intellect can take you to heights which are unimaginable. But we dull it. We ignore it. We should keep our intellect sharp. How do we dull our intellect? When we are not being careful what we are watching, what we are reading, the kind of a people we are hanging out. That all goes inside our intellect. Got to be careful. Intellect is the best and the topmost tool we have. That's why that Sanskrit saying, Kartum Shakyam, Akartum Shakyam. What should be done, what should be not done is decided by the intellect. So we got to have that faculty in a good condition. Emotions give you power. Intellect gives you direction. Both are needed. We need the power also, power which is positive, the direction which is upward. So intellect can steer us. It's a very important tool we have. And more we use it, better it gets. See, worldly things, when we use it, they get diminished. But intellect, the more we use it, sharper it gets. And the fourth aspect is spiritual. That's where the questions like, what is the purpose of life? What did I achieve? Why did I come here in this body? We should know the meaning of life. That is our spiritual need. We need to satisfy this need. Because if we don't, we'll feel meaningless. Most of the people, they fill their life instead of living a fulfilled life. So if we have the right answers for the spiritual, or if we have health in the spiritual area, then life feels fulfilled, not just only filled. See, there is a goal of life and there's a purpose of life. Goal of life keeps on changing. When we were younger, it was a different goal. To pass this grade, to have that certificate, to have that job, to get married, to have kids, that keeps on changing. But throughout life, the spiritual goal, the purpose of life stays the same. Okay, so we got to always remember that. If I can find harmony within, only then I can even expect a harmonious relationship outside. So that means we got to spend enough time with ourselves. At the physical level, is there a harmony? Emotional level, is there a harmony? Intellectual level and spiritual level. That is a well-balanced personality. So now, having that said, let's look at our relationship with others. There are some mantras to cultivate a harmony in the outer field. Topmost mantra is respect and love for every relationship. Respect. Anybody. If you don't respect that person, it's not that we have to touch their feet. If not that we have to offer them flowers. Inside our mind, do we have a respect for that baby? For that person who's on the street? Or a person I live with? Or a person who comes at my home to clean my house? Who cooks for me? If I go to the restaurant when I pick up food, do I have a respect for that person? Or not? Respect and love. Actually, in the scriptures, they say devotion. Not just a love, because love word is a very loose word. Devotion, respect and devotion. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse number 32, I'm sure most of you have read this. Lord Krishna says, do unto others as you would have others unto you. Atam upamain sarvatra samam pashyati yo Arjuna. Sukham va yadi va dukkham sa yogi parmoyata. Because a yogi has a harmonious relationship within also and without also. So that's why in this verse, Lord Krishna says, one is considered the best yogi who regards every being like oneself and who can feel the pain and pleasures of others as one's own, O Arjuna. Because we want others to be sympathetic to us. We got to start being sympathetic towards others also. We do not accept human beings as they are. We can accept animals as they are, but not human beings somehow. We always want to change others. Try not to change anybody. Accept them the way they are if you want a harmony in your relationships. Accept and adjust. Otherwise, there always be resistance. Accept others as they are. In Hindi, there is a term tikka tipne. That means criticism. Don't criticize. It creates criticism, creates a disharmony. And here we are working towards a harmony. Because there are always more than one way to look at anything. There could be a speaker speaking very eloquently. Some people will say, wow, what a speech. There could be other people in the same audience. It was not good. There are always more than one way to look at it. So try to accept. Because we don't see as it is, but as it is shown to me through my filter. There are filters in our own mind. The way we were brought up, our family, education, etc. So the other people they have their own filters too. Respect those filters also. Then there will be harmony. So if we keep in our mind that we all have come from different backgrounds with many filters, less chance of disharmony. And that's why there won't be any stress, mental stress as well as stress in the relationship. So each one of us sees only with our perspective. It could be in relation to anything, the way we dress up, the way we speak, the way we keep our hair, the way we keep our home, anything. Do not criticize. The minute you start seeing everyone as yourself, what is the result? The result is love, forgiveness. And that's where the harmony comes from. Just like in our own body, I always tell you that different parts of the body, they look different, they function different, but they are all part of the same body. We don't say this part is more important than the other part. Even if our finger pokes into our eye, we still care for our finger. The same thing should happen in our relationships also. The Sanskrit term for this is atmiyata, sameness. Sameness. Where there's love, sameness. Another thing in the relationships, there's always a give and take. That's a relationship, give and take. In any relationship, if there's more take, it will not work. That means there's a selfishness in our mind that I want to take more than give. There's a disharmony. So principle to remember is that giving should be more than taking. Stay on the credit side. And it doesn't have to be only monetary. With the society also, with the nation also, with the environment also. This way there's a harmony. So that means if we think we want more, that is a seed for disharmony. Always think, what can we do? How can I help? Another thing is that if we see the commonness in ourselves with others, there is love and harmony. We are all human beings. We all want peace and joy. This is the commonness. This is called the Satvik Drishti. Seeing the unity in this diversity. But if we start seeing the separateness, like we are women, we are rich, or we are educated, or we belong to this social status, there will be a disharmony. Try to always find the sameness. See, families fall apart because people start seeing differences only. So as long as emphasis is on the commonness, there is a harmony. Differences always create conflict. Even between two sisters or two brothers. We often see before marriage, sameness, commonness. After a while, separateness. That's where the disharmony comes. Another mantra of harmony in relationship is, remember, change is a fact of life. The minute you resist change, there is a disharmony. There are a lot of mothers in this class. When our kids were little, as toddlers, or even as babies, they always ran after us. If we thought that it should stay same, it's not possible. As they grow old, their interest changes. Accepting that change is wisdom. So change is a fact of life. People change, relationships change, technology change. Can we choose the change? Some people cannot change with the change. They resist, and that's where the disharmony is. So there should not be a strong resistance towards change. Sure, we should do what we can do. With that harmony inside, we'll know where we need to change and where we need to stop. So that's why the internal harmony is very important. Another mantra for the harmony is, be good, do good. With this mantra, you will create a harmonious environment. The presence of a person who is harmonious, it affects other people. Those are the people we call saintly people. Because goodness affects others. Emotionally also, physically also, intellectually also. So that's why I said that keep this mantra in your mind. Be good, do good. Sometimes we want to do good, but not be good. And sometimes some people, they want to be good, but they don't want to do anything about it. There should be a balance about that. Another thing you got to remember, values, the sanskaras, they are invaluable. Sanskaras, the good values which we learned when we were little. Help others wherever you can. So values are invaluable and valuables are only valuable. Sometimes we pay too much attention towards the valuables. We got to go back to that. If we want harmony in our life, go for the values in life. Because if we keep giving importance to things and neglect people, there will be a disharmony in relationships. If there's a more and more emphasis on things, comforts, or enjoyment, bhog, which is called, you will neglect the relationships. And these days, it's also a fashion to say, I am busy. Stop saying that. Take some time out for others. Take some time out. We have started living in a very fake world. Always try to do something for somebody on a daily basis. And we have many roles to play. Each and every role is important. It's not just only one relationship. It's a relationship in all the roles. And we must learn how to interact with others, all age group. Every role has its importance. Brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, all the in-laws, if we are married, our goal should be that they are all human beings. Every role is important and learn how to deal with it. Life is like a package deal. With a husband comes mother-in-law also. If husband is important to us, mother-in-law is equally important. Just like our own siblings are important to our spouse also. Keep that in mind. We don't live in a vacuum. All the roles are extremely important. Because most of the time we want to mingle with only one type of people, our type. And we start judging others. So as long as we have that kind of a nature, there cannot be any harmony. Where do we learn all this? Which tradition teaches us all this? Yesterday we were studying Ramayana. What did we learn from Ramayana? Lord Ram, why do we worship him? Every relationship was extremely important to him. He will go out of his way to take care of that relationship. Personal needs were left aside, taking care of others. That's how he became, or we call him, God. He never called himself a God. So that's why I said that if we have this kind of a life, we can reach to the Godhood. So scriptures teach us, gurus teach us, be less selfish, be more giving. That's where the harmony comes. But first, it really starts with our own personality. See, this is the personality, physical, emotional, intellectual, that's all personality. We need to work on that, shape it properly, then deal with the other people. They are like me. Okay? This is the easy way of living. Less stress, less jealousy, healthier life, calmer peace of mind. Because we want to transcend this mind ultimately. We cannot transcend a mind which is a frustrated mind. In order to transcend the mind, to reach up to the upper layers of spirituality, mind has to be good. Mind which is positive, and this is the kind of a mind which is a positive mind. Because what is mind? Thoughts. What did I talk about? Thoughts. So these kind of a thoughts, easier to transcend and move towards the upper layers of spirituality. Okay, now I'm going to stop talking and let's have some discussion. If some of your questions were not answered, or if they were answered, still I would like to know. So anybody? Yes. Yes, Jyoti.
No, I just want to say it was a very good class today. I learned a lot.
Good. I'm glad. Glad.
Yep, a lot of questions were answered.
Oh,
yeah.
they were answered. Okay. All right. So anybody else? Any comment? Because it's a very general, but these general things are more important sometimes, because if we work with these things, then it's easier to deal with the subtle things in life. Yes.
So Manju Malhotra,
Yes,
she
Manju.
has a question.
Unmute.
Manju, you have to unmute.
Sorry. Namaste. Okay, I just remember Nishi's father-in-law used to visit here, and he always said that harmony is word harmony.
Yeah.
Just, you just surrender basically, you don't hold up your ego.
Yeah, but I would have to say that when we say harmony, that means we are giving up. Harmony is not giving up. Harmony is both are raising their awareness up. Okay?
Yes.
So we don't want to have a negative connotation on that. Harmony. Yeah, just understanding the other person is equally important. There's a God in the other person.
Yeah.
More on surrender.
Yeah. And maybe let go, basically.
Yeah.
Essentially let go.
I mean, the minute we start seeing the sameness, the whole picture becomes clear. Because when we see that other person is different, what is our inclination? Right away, we think that person is not good enough. We are better.
But Hershji, to see the sameness in others, you have to go through the samadhi phase. I think that should be maybe towards the end of the story.
Yeah.
You put it as
Ultimately, samadhi will happen, but samadhi can happen only intellectually when we understand it. So right now we are trying to understand it intellectually, philosophically.
But to see others as yourself intellectually doesn't really work. You can think about it. You can say, oh, everybody's like me. I am human being. They're human. They're like me. But it doesn't work. The way you want us to look at it is only after we go through the samadhi, and then we see everybody as one. But that's a very high ground.
In order to see, it's like a catch-22 otherwise. Okay, but we got to just accept it intellectually right now, and then work towards it, and then we'll experience. Experience will happen only when we walk on these lines. Okay, so then there's no effort. First, there's definitely an effort. We might have to bite our tongue a few times. Okay, so work. So that's why I said that this work is going on within you, and then effect of that is outside we see. And it's not just done once and you're done with it. Outside changes too. Inside changes too. But you got to keep those principles in mind. That's why I said the very first principle, respect and devotion. At least work on that. If not the sameness, that we are all same, respect everybody. We can do that.
One way of sameness could be taken as this way. If I want to be understood, then I have to understand also. If I want to be forgiven, I need to forgive too. I mean, if we think even at a human level.
Yeah.
if I can make mistakes, maybe the other person also made a mistake. So
Yeah.
I have to let go. Same way, just like I would like to be excused for some wrongdoings.
Yeah.
You got to do the same thing for other person, give them the benefit of doubt.
Yeah.
Or move
You
on.
know, the key over here is because we do work on the physical. We know plenty about the physical. Intellectually also we study a lot. Emotionally, a lot of people they don't understand their emotional state of mind. One of these days I'm going to talk about, open up the emotions also. Because emotion play a crucial role in relationships.
Yeah.
When the emotions are, they are heightened, intellect is thrown out of the picture at that time. So that's why I think I just thought about it that, yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Maybe one of these days, emotions.
Hershey, Nishta has a question.
Yes, Nishta.
Hanji, namaste everyone. So I had actually a comment and a question. The one thing I've noticed in the Narankari group, all my dadas were Narankaris. So, there they touch each other's feet, whether you're a young kid or an old person. The young person will touch the old person's feet, the older person will touch the younger one's feet, which really brings out that oneness and that feeling of the God within you perspective, very, very clearly and very physically. You don't notice that too much in other religions, such as Hinduism, where they're very distinct about I'm older than you and you have to touch my feet and so on. And I've always noticed Nirankaris mein, younger people are touching older people's feet, older people are touching young kids' feet, and so on, which is really very, very. It's a very tangible way of showing, given there's that God within the other person. So, and my question is, you had talked about being very giving and so on. What if in a relationship it's very skewed, where one person is giving much more than the other person? How do you resolve that?
The person who's giving will have a good feel. Don't think that I am giving. Then you'll have a harmony at least within you. You're doing your duty. But if somebody else is taking advantage of you, intellectually, you should understand that too. Then deal with it in the outer area without resentment. Okay? So we should not take advantage of somebody, and nobody should take advantage of us either, because those relationships don't last. But giving is definitely a good part of a relationship. Okay?
Question by...
Going back to you, that touching everybody's feet, in other Hindu traditions also, when we do namaste, the same thing we are doing. Because every organizations, they got their own way of greeting each other. So namaste is the same thing. Okay, that I bow down to the soul in you, the God in you. Okay, so only thing is people don't have a knowledge. When things are done just they become very mechanical, then people don't understand why they are doing it. But otherwise, this is part of the Sanatan Dharma, respecting everybody, because there's a soul in everybody. Yesterday we were talking about soul. There's a Atma, or there's a part of Brahma, even in a table and a chair, in a book, in a pen. So we got to give respect to even these inert things which we talk about, not just only the physical. Okay. Yes, Jyoti.
Vidi?
Yeah, no, I was just sharing actually what works for me is like I feel that everybody is operating from own sanskars. So I have no right to go into other people's sanskar, first of all, and then accepting your own sanskars and working from there. So that kind of before samadhi ki jo Poonam ji raised that. So those are the steps which I'm working on. Thank you.
Yeah, mainly we got to work on ourselves.
Yes.
More emphasis on ourselves, and then keeping a peace in our environment. Wherever we can help, but mainly ourselves. Okay, if there's a harmony within, it will be easier to have harmony without. Okay, yes, Jyoti.
Urmilji, you need to unmute.
Good afternoon, Herji. You just said inner harmony is easier to have once you have worked on yourself. But sometimes, as you said, the emotions overpower the intellectual planning. So what comes first, chicken or the egg? Inner harmony, and you're working on it and you're still there, you're raw, you're not perfected. And what comes to you, and not to react and keep being harmonious yourself, it's very easy to relapse because you're not fully ready. Haven't worked on ourselves enough to say, oh, I am just harmonious and I'm peaceful and I'm accepting and everything, and keep taking whatever. So that's where I say, what comes first, chicken or the egg?
Okay, first of all, we need to do introspection daily. Last 24 hours or 12 hours, I mean waking hours, we should look at it. What really happened? Was I harmonious? Is there something to learn? So it's just like a practice we need to do on a daily basis. So chicken and an egg, they really feed into each other. Without chicken, there's no egg, and without egg, there's no chicken. That's the same way the emotions and the intellect, they are intertwined. So we got to keep on, see, this is, whether it's an emotion or whether it's an intellect, they're all part of the Prakriti. These are the equipments given to us. And we need to learn how to use these equipments to rise above the equipments, which Poonam mentioned, Samadhi. But first we are in these equipments right now. So learn to use them with a clarity. So more and more being aware of this whole situation. You'll say before you know, you'll be transcending them. Still working with them, but in a very transcendental way. Okay, it's a practice. And you guys are doing it. I know you are just asking me these questions. You are
because we are discussing. Otherwise, we also know all that.
Yeah, you all know. Yeah, that's all it is. It's a practice, introspection, and taking the responsibility of your life. Because ordinarily what happens, we just blame the others. I am in disharmony because of this. No, we got to take responsibility. Without going into the negative zone. Okay, with this proper knowledge, yeah, I was there, I have done it. With this knowledge, I'll do it differently. Okay, because without harmony, we cannot expect samadhi, as Poonam said. This harmony is needed, and especially the internal harmony inside. Okay.
Yeah, I get it, but we get we all try. We are aware of it, and then we get lost.
We get lost, and we come back again, and then with more knowledge. Because whenever we get lost, that means we have had some experience, and we didn't like it, that negative experience. And next time we are more careful. Sometimes the words which we spoke, maybe we did not look at other person's point of view. Maybe
that's what you said.
Maybe we were tired. There could be many reasons, but look at objectively and then move on. See, if you remember the ultimate goal, ultimate purpose of life, then it gets easier. All of this is a drama, a play.
Yeah. When you mentioned those 4 points and the various mantras, you said we have to know the purpose of life.
Yes.
One of the things that you mentioned at the spiritual level,
Yes.
what do we achieve, goal of life, what is the meaning of life?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Oh, you mean when I said that just
That
that was
4th
under,
point.
yeah, 4 points like a spiritual. That's like a, you see, physical we know, emotional we know somewhat. We'll talk emotional later on in some other class. Intellectual we know that we get it from scriptures and from satsang and all that. And spiritual, that's where the purpose of life comes. What is the purpose of my life? I need to know myself. I am Atma. And I need to become one with the Paramatma, God. That is spiritual. Nothing else. Knowing yourself, the way, who you are. So we have come here to know ourselves. We have not come here to have this degree, that degree, children, grandchildren, or other properties, whatever we have done. Those are just physical things. The real purpose of life is to know ourselves.
Hershji, can I add something here?
Sure.
You said the relationships. I guess we have the close relationships so that we can learn about ourselves most of the time.
Yes.
I think they are the real teachers of who we are on a physical or emotional level.
Yeah, but again, those are relationships so that we can move towards the ultimate goal. We let go of all of this. Having the relationships is not the real purpose of life. The purpose of life was that we had some unfinished business with those relationships. And by going through it, we got to clean the slate.
Treat them as tools. How about that?
Yeah.
To know ourselves.
Yeah, to know ourselves. So spiritual is to know ourselves. That's where those sayings, know thyself. That is spirituality. And what stops us? All of this. The whole drama over here, the play, stops us. Doesn't let us see clearly what our goal of life is. Okay?
That's what I keep asking again and again, because much that we know that the goal of life is to become one with God and be one part of the Atma. Yeah. But it's the drama of life that makes us completely forget that.
That's why we got to remember rest is just a drama. Play the drama properly without forgetting who you are. We don't want to ignore our part in this drama. We got to play the part with the utmost clarity and attention. Play the part.
May I ask a question?
Sure, Prem.
I'm just trying to figure out how to keep this balance. You know, we want our cup to be filled. We want to make, because that's the only way I can have a good relationship with myself. If I also give myself as a soul, as a dignified human being, importance, and then I have to balance this with others as well. Sometimes it's a difficult to balance it, but I think you just answered my question, that if I can remember that my purpose here is to become one with God and salvation, and I'm a spiritual human being, then maybe I don't see myself as denying, but I see myself as fulfilling. And therefore, I'm not really ignoring myself. Does that
Yes.
make sense?
Yeah, yeah, you should not. Yeah. You know, what I learned from my own Guruji, he said, anytime you're doing something, remember, is this decision taking you towards your ultimate purpose or away from it?
Mm-hmm.
That is my mantra for me.
Mm-hmm.
Anything.
Anything.
Anything I do which makes me forget who I am, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to take a chance. It could be any relationship. It could be anything I watch or anything I do or anything I eat. I don't want to do it because that is a suicide for me.
That's very helpful to remember.
That's what I remember, and those are my Guruji's words. Very simple. His directions were always very to the point, so it just made sense to me, and that's what I like to share with you.
Yes.
Okay, so keeping the ultimate goal, do not ignore your duties, but do not get unnecessarily involved into the nitty-gritty of this life. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things which we do which are unnecessary. And those unnecessary things are the ones which are taking us away from the goal.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes. Thank you.
So I know we have taken a lot of time. But thank you. Thank you for coming. And if there's anybody who wants to sing a bhajan today,